Hello students, welcome to AriserTalent. In our previous lecture, we have already talked about the kingdom Protista. Now we are going to talk about the kingdom Fungi. So fungi, as we know that the fungi are the organism whose body is generally thallus. Thallus means they have thalloid body, means the plant body is not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Okay, so first feature, if we want to talk about the organisms which are kept in the group fungi, then they are generally unicellular, they may be multicellular, okay, but the thing is that their body is thalloid. They are thalloid because the plant body is not differentiated into the root, stem or leaves. So first of all, let me mention they may be generally fungi are thalloid. Thalloid means they are not differentiated into root, stem or leaves, means not differentiated into root, stem or leaves. Okay, so we can say that the fungi, if we talk about the body of these fungi, that they are thallus in structure, means they have thalloid body structure. Body is not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. As well as we can say that they may be unicellular or multicellular. They may be, these organisms may be unicellular, they may be unicellular or multicellular. Okay, they may be unicellular or they may be multicellular. Beside it, we must say that their body, if we talk about the outer structure, then their cell body is generally covered by the cell wall, which is made up of cellulose or chitin. Okay, so here we can mention they possess a definite cell wall made up of cellulose or chitin. Okay, so this is all about the structure. Now if we want to talk about the mode of nutrition, then they can be autotrophic or they can be heterotrophic in nature. Autotrophic, if they would be autotrophic, then they can synthesize the food, but here the thing is that these fungi do not have chlorophyll, so they cannot be autotrophic, they are heterotrophic in nature. Okay, so let me mention that the fungi do not have chlorophyll. They do not have chlorophyll, so they cannot synthesize. Their food. Okay, so they cannot synthesize their food. Okay, but they need food, so they are dependent on the environment for their food. So they can get the food from either from the dead organism. So if they will get the food from the dead organism, they will be saprophytic in nature. But if they will get the food from the living organism, that time they will be in the form of parasites. Okay, so here let me mention that the fungi do not have chlorophyll, so they cannot synthesize their food. So they are dependent on other organisms for their food. Okay, so they are dependent on other organisms. They are dependent on other organisms for food. Okay, so if they get their food from the dead organism, that they are saprophytic, and if they get the food from the living organism, then they are known as parasites. Okay, they either get their food from the dead organisms means they are saprophytic in nature. Okay, or from living organisms, or from living organisms, then they are parasites. Okay. Fine. So this is the mode of nutrition. Now if we talk about their reproduction, then the reproduction can be either it can be sexual or it can be asexual. Okay. So let me mention here that the mode of nutrition, reproduction okay. So here we can say that the reproduction can be from the asexual. Asexual reproduction generally can be done by the formation of spores, and sexual reproduction is generally by the formation of sex organs or by the fusion of gametes. Okay, so we can say then generally fungi have two type of phases. One is vegetative phase and another is reproductive phase. Okay, so first of all let me mention that fungi have two phases. Fungi have two phases. Okay, one is vegetative phase and another is reproductive phase. Vegetative phase and reproductive phase. So if we talk about this vegetative phase, then this vegetative phase is assimilated with the storage of food. Okay, it is related or it is concerned with the assimilation of food. This phase, it is concerned with assimilation of food. Okay, and another phase is reproductive phase. So reproductive phase, again reproduction can be of two types, sexual and asexual. Sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. So if we talk about the asexual reproduction first, then it is concerned with the formation of spores. It is concerned with, or it is done by the formation of spores. Okay, and if we talk about the sexual reproduction, then it is associated with the formation of sex organ and the fusion of gametes. Okay, it is associated with the formation of sex organs and the fusion of gametes. Okay, and if we talk about the food here, so here in the fungi, the reserve food material is in the form of oil, globules and glycogen. Let me mention here the reserve food material here in the fungi. The reserved food material, the reserved food material is in the form of glycogen, in the form of glycogen and oil globules. Okay, so this is all about the fungi. Now, example, if you talk about the examples of these fungi, so we can mention the mushrooms here, okay. And one more important feature about these fungi are that they can show a symbiotic relationship with the cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria means blue-green algae. Okay, so when these fungi live with the cyanobacteria or blue-green algae, then they show a symbiotic relationship, and the result of the symbiotic relationship is the lichens. Okay, means the fungi and the cyanobacteria together form a new form of the organism, that is lichens, and lichens show the symbiotic relationship. So what is the symbiotic relationship? Symbiotic relationship is the relationship in which both the organism live together and are benefited by each other. Okay, so each one of them provide the support, nutrition to each other. Okay, so thus we can say that these fungi with the cyanobacteria show symbiotic relationship, and they form the new form of organism, that is lichen. Let me mention. The fungi these fungi show symbiotic relationship with the cyanobacteria, means blue-green algae, blue-green algae, and then they form the lichens and form lichens. Okay, so this form is a mixture, or we can say this form is made by the symbiotic relationship of the fungi and the cyanobacteria. So this is all about the kingdom fungi, that the organisms which are found in the kingdom fungi, generally they are unicellular or they may be multicellular, and the body is thalloid, means the body is not differentiated into root, stem and leaves. Okay, and if we talk about the reserve food material, then the reserve food material is generally in the form of glycogen and oil globules. They do not have chlorophyll. This is a reason that they are dependent for the food on the environment. So they can be saprophytic or they can be parasitic. Okay, and if we talk about the phases, generally it has two phases. They show means we must say that the fungi show two types of phases in their life. One is vegetative phase and another is reproductive phase. Vegetative phase is related to the assimilation of food, and reproductive phase, again there is two type of reproductive phases: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is concerned with the formation of spores, and sexual reproduction is associated with the formation of sex organs and the fusion of gametes. So this is all about the fungi. Hope everything is clear to you. Thank you.